Lance Hall here for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. Thrilled and honored to have Mr. Matt Barlow with me today, calling into the program. How you doing, Matt?
Good, Lance. Good to be on, man. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking my call here on a Sunday afternoon. Ashes of Aries, second release, Well of Souls, coming out November 9th on Rock of Angels Records. I have heard an advanced copy of this. It is smoking, Matt.
Cool, man. I appreciate it.
Got to be excited to get this out to the masses.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You know, we're really happy. The overall response that we've gotten just from the singles that we've released so far. I know it was kind of kind of look at it this way. When Roar approached us as far as what their picks were, because hey man, they're the label, they're the one that are fronting the money so that we can do this and get this out to people. So we're gonna respect their wishes and certain things. And we were kind of we were a little unsure when they said, well, let's go ahead and release let's go ahead and release Soul Searcher as a lyric video. We were like, it's like a ballad, right? And
Yeah.
and it is unusual. It's rather, I'm going to say, unorthodox. Okay, to release that, but we had really good response from it, and I'm not saying that I'm not necessarily surprised. I think it's a really solid song, and it's really kind of different. Even as far as a ballad is concerned, it's I kind of wanted to approach it to be a little rougher in the vocals and look kind of like a really tragic kind of a vibe. From somebody who's haggard,
Yeah.
living many lives, and that's the way I approached singing it, and the way that Freddy wanted to do it. He actually really wanted to do it really stripped down kind of ballad, and I think we did that. I think we sort of did that. It's not power ballad; it's straight up ballad with and it was rather unorthodox the way that we thought that the label wanted to put that out as the first one, but in the end, man, we said, hey, we'll bow to your knowledge of it and the way that you feel about it as a listener, because we've been listening to some of these tunes for a couple of years now, and we don't we weren't really sure how folks were gonna kind of perceive them or what have you. So outside ears are sometimes a good thing.
Yeah. I was going to get into some songs a little bit later, but since you brought it up, we'll kick it off there. My notes on Soul Searcher, I had sort of a cross between Soundgarden, Corrosion of Conformity, Stone Sour with a dash of Led Zeppelin 3.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Hey, compliments all around on that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't know where we were coming from with it. And a lot of times, like when we're approaching, like Freddy gave me the music, and it just put me in this place, man, where it's very desolate, and I was trying to think of like the most, desolate kind of despairing kind of a vibe, and for whatever reason I was kind of pinging off of maybe an Anne Rice kind of a vibe, and I have this like affinity for vampire stuff, man. So that's kind of where I went, and just thinking like what's the most troubling that you could be, a guy roaming, damned to roam the earth without a soul, and just that's really it. I mean, that's kind of the vibe that we were shooting for. I don't know, outside influences, yeah, maybe some of those were there, I don't know, but it just really felt natural to go this direction with it. I don't know that Freddy didn't have any preconceived notions as far as the music. It's just, I think he gave it to me and said, hey man, run with this, and I did, and so that's what we got. And I try to approach every song as obviously an individual story, and I'm trying to less think about well, what do people think about Matt Barlow doing this, and more about what can I add to the song to make the song better, and kind of take on a character. And that's the way I usually try to approach songwriting, is that I have to be a character for this song to make it a good song.
Very, very cool. Now the track before that, Unworthy, my note here says this track is not for the faint of heart.
It's not, man, and I want to leave some of it up to interpretation.
Sure.
For sure, but it's definitely, there are definitely elements of some internal struggle. Maybe somebody who's struggling with the thoughts of just absolute kind of despair and you know, I don't know if maybe there's some other internal things going on, but also, you know, reaching out and you know, almost crying for help.
Yeah.
And hopefully that comes, you know, and hopefully that's the outcome. But I wanted to leave it sort of open-ended, that this is this person who's crying for help, and if we don't, you know, if somebody doesn't act, something bad could certainly happen. And I think that's one of the things that we're looking at, especially in this country, and I think around the world, is that there are people out there that are just crying for help, and it's like we've abandoned them, and we're ignoring them in a lot of respects, and you know, it's sad, man. It really is. As a society of human beings, we should be really more proactive where that's concerned.
I agree. The vocals on Unworthy, there's a ton of different variations and styles and pitches and ranges. Is that all you on like the lead and the background vocals and everything? Are you doing all those?
No, the doomy, the stuff that's in the back, the what I call the death metal, that's Freddy.
Okay.
Okay. And that was his idea and his contribution to not only the vocals, but also the lyrical content as well. So, you know, we really contributed to it. He's like, man, I've got this idea for this bit that I think would be really cool, you know, underneath that, to go along with your you know, your melody, and it's not melodic at all, and it sort of lends itself to that turmoil, and that's what we were going for with that. Again, you know, trying to add to the song and the story, and kind of make something different, and so hopefully we did that, and hopefully there's that understanding of that inner turmoil that some people, you know, face, and you know, I hope it works. Hope it works for people, and hopefully they connect with that.
Yeah. The other thing I liked was the segues and the way it was sequenced, the way they went from Unworthy to Soul Searcher, and then you slam right back into it with Sun Dragon. Did you guys pay close attention to sequencing?
Yeah, we do, man. I mean, obviously we didn't know exactly how the songs were going to be sequenced. You know, we don't start out like one song and then go to the second song and write it. And you know, we have you know, we had all this compilation of songs, and Freddie and I bounced the ideas back and forth about not only the tone. We've done that. We did that for the first record as well. We want some ebb and flow songs, but not only that, there's certain songs that are tuned differently, and ones that Freddie uses 7-string, and so it really gives a lot of different, you know, tonal quality to it.
Right.
So we wanted to keep that in mind as well. You know, we want to give kind of people a nice cornucopia of sounds and kind of different flavors as they're going through the record. And we want it to have a natural flow. I hope that we did that with this. I think it was the best combination that we could come up with, and we definitely intentionally like put the trilogy in the mix, you know, in the center of it. We didn't want it to be the finale. We wanted God of War definitely to be the finale, and it ends up being not exactly the finale, but certainly of our tunes, original tunes.
Very cool.
But it also, I think it worked out really well with putting the trilogy in there, because it has that ebb and flow with some of the other songs, and it comes out nice when coming out of that trilogy into Time Traveler, and it's kind of more of an upbeat.
Yeah, definitely. I want to talk to you about the trilogy in a sec. The other tune, I got to tell you, if you can pass this along to Freddy, In the Darkness. I'm a guitar solo kind of guy. That solo in that tune just cranks.
Man, you know, I think Freddy is the highlight of this record, man. I mean, honestly, he and honestly, one of the reasons some people were talking about the mix and things like that. I've heard people saying, well, you know, your vocals are pretty, you know, back in the mix, and we really intentionally did that. I wanted to highlight Freddie's writing and his playing, and I didn't want to, you know, because it seemed like on the first record, you know, intentionally or not, I don't know exactly how it worked out, but my vocals were a little bit farther, and that was what a lot of people said about the mix. You know, the guitars are kind of squashed, and we didn't want that, man, because it's kind of unfortunate in that record that they are, because Freddie did such a fine job in that record as well. But we wanted this mix to be a nice, you know, really guitar heavy, really guitar rich mix.
Yeah.
hopefully that worked with this. And you know, I just think he did a phenomenal job on a lot of these solos, man. I just, I watched the video for like Let All Despair a lot, and that's what, that solo, man, is just really soulful. There's a lot of bluesy soul in there, and also some little, ode to thrash in there. A couple of little chunky bits at the end of it, man, are just like, it's, kind of got almost a Slayer vibe on it, so it's really cool, man. And I think I wish Freddy would get more credit than he gets sometimes, and I'm here to do it, I guess, because I just think he's a really, really great guitar player and a great songwriter and, a great guy. So
definitely.
I appreciate that, and I'm going to definitely pass that on to him, man.
You mentioned the video for Let's All Despair, which is, of course, the first song in the trilogy. Do you have plans to do videos for the other two songs as well, or is this just sort of the way this one fell?
It's sort of the way that it fell, and that's another one of those things, kind of head scratchers, because we weren't sure exactly, when the label said, well, we want to do a video for this, and we were kind of like, well, but it's the first song in the trilogy. It'd probably be cool if we did the whole trilogy, but we can't really do that. We don't really have the budget to do that.
Yeah.
But it worked, man. I think it was it's a good call on them, and I totally give them credit for it. I think it's a good introduction to that trilogy, and hopefully it gets people interested in the concept behind the trilogy and want to push forward into that. We are doing another video, and I'm not going to tell you which it's for, but I don't know if the label has released that or not, but we are doing another video,
cool.
And but it is for a different standalone concept, and so that's cool too. It'll give, I think, different flavors for the whole record, and give different people, some people a different taste of the different songs. I think three videos is kind of cool because it does get people, hopefully it gets them excited about the record and the kind of different elements of it. So
now for the Let's All Despair video, you brought some friends in with you to be in that one. Charlie on guitar, Kyle on drums, and Kelly Conlon.
Yep. Yeah. So I knew, we've been knowing Charlie since we were touring a couple of years ago. We met him as the guy. Freddy knew him when he lived over in New Hampshire. Met up with him, and so it worked out, really well with that. Having Charlie on, he's a super nice guy, man, and really talented guy. As far as a live rhythm lead player, he's just phenomenal. So we're really happy to have him on board for doing the video. And Kyle and Kelly are long-term friends of Freddy, and they live out in Arizona, and so they're going to be part of what we got going on as far as the live act as well. So we're really happy to have them on, and just super nice guys.
Cool. And we got to give props to Joey and Matt, who provided the drum kit for the video. I heard that was sort of a big deal.
So again, man, with having a band where we're two different places all over the country, I'm not a drummer, so I don't have a drum kit on hand. So those guys are from Single Bullet Theory, and they did some shows with us a couple years ago, so we're friends with them, and they were gracious enough to help us out, supply the drum kit for the video, and they're right there in Pennsylvania area, so they were about an hour or so away from where we shot the video in Shenandoah, Pennsylvania.
Very cool.
Really, really cool location. It was in this old school that used to be a hospital back in the time of the Spanish flu.
Wow.
So it was like, it was originally built in the late 1800s, and then it was converted to a couple different things with school and all this, and it's just really kind of cool and got some really, really interesting vibes off of it. So
excellent. David Brodsky was director of the video. Had you worked with him before?
Yeah, we had for This Is My Hell, and we just have formed a really cool friendship, man, and just a super nice guy, man. He's given us a lot for a little. Okay, so we're going to be getting two videos from David and My Good Eye Productions, and for because we're friends, he's given us the friends and family discount. I like to say it it, but he and his girlfriend Allie are just phenomenal people, and we just have a really good time hanging out with them. And so hanging out with them and shooting videos is like for us it's just fun.
That's cool. Yeah, I wanted to mention her too. Allison was a producer on that video. So.
Yep.
Excellent.
So again, super killer people, and I highly recommend them to anybody who needs video work done. My Good Eye.
Excellent.
You can find it, and we advertise that on our Facebook and on our announcement and everything for the video. So I think all that stuff is also attached to the YouTube video. So.
You recorded this album back in June and July at the Terrarium in Minneapolis. Rob Osterline produced and mixed with the band. First time you'd worked with him, correct?
Well, actually, no. I had worked with Rob in We Are Sentinels. So Rob. Recording at my studio for vocals. Freddy did all the recording for his guitars at his studio. Van did all the recording for drums at his studio, and we kind of got it all together. Rob did the mix, did the mixing for us, and we did the mastering at Terrarium as well. So it was kind of like a Franken record a little bit. We had bits and pieces, and we put it all together and mixed it. But Terrarium again, and Rob, phenomenal dude. And I highly recommend him for any engineering and production work that anybody has, especially at that studio. Very cool, kind of out of the way studio. It's in Minneapolis, but it's very low key, and so it's nice to work in. Very cool vibe in the place. And
cool.
Rob's super nice guy, very laid back, easy to get along with. Pretty much do whatever you need to be done, and he's not like a strictly a metal guy. He does all kinds of stuff. So,
yeah, I was looking at his bio. He's worked with like the Jayhawks and a ton of different varieties. So with that type of background, must be able to bring all sorts of elements into everybody's music, which must be really cool.
Yeah, I think it probably does lend itself to a different ear, and and again he's listening to things from a different standpoint, because he's not strictly a metal guy. He has done metal stuff, metal projects, but he's listening to it from a different, and it's kind of nice to have a different set of ears. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a different opinion on things, and so I think it definitely lend itself to something cool, and hopefully we'll continue that relationship, man, because I think it's a good one, and really like Rob, and he does. It's kind of one of those things that I know it's a weird thing, but it's just nice to like the people that you're working with, and
absolutely
be able to joke around with them, and and just kind of BS about stuff. So that's always a good thing.
Very cool. Talk with Matt Barlow here from Ashes of Aries on Let's Discuss with Lance Hall, their second album, Well of Souls, coming out November 9th on Rock of Angels Records. Well of Souls, tell us a little bit about the title. Where did that come from?
Well, it came from within the trilogy. It's one of the concepts in the trilogy, and I know that there is a Well of Souls that's very well-known location, and has religious connotations attached to it. This Well of Souls is not necessarily that Well of Souls, if you I'm saying, but to me the concept is kind of a sci-fi meets fantasy meets spirituality kind of concept with the trilogy, and it's kind of a what is our connection with Earth, and if Earth has a soul and we're all part of that, then there would be a well of souls, so to speak. And that's kind of the concept of like the Gaia or the living planet. That's kind of what I'm thinking about with this trilogy, and what would happen if to us as humans and our souls if our Mother Earth had to enter into a kind of a sleep cycle, so to speak. So if you take the concept that is cyclical in its life and death and things like that, and has to, much like our seasons, how we, the change of seasons, we sometimes, and we as human beings, we die so that there could be more life. What if the planet herself had to into a state of sleep, and then what would happen with us, and that's kind of the concept, that when the mother sleeps, then we're all sort of susceptible to outside forces in the universe, and so there's kind of a big question mark at the end of it. I will say I kind of leave the concept open for people's imagination to flow, and the possibility of visiting these ideas again. Yeah. But I just really want to get the concept and the vibe out there and see what people's thoughts are, and I really look forward to hearing what people's feedback is about what the trilogy means to them, or their concepts, or how they think of things. I really like to not lay it all out on the table.
Sure.
With songs, and I like people's imaginations to be used, and there's no wrong answers, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course there are, but I just like people's minds to travel. It's like when the first time I listened to Operation Mindcrime, man, I just and then the second time, and then the third time, and I have all these different things and that you're thinking about, and like where this could go, and things like that. That's the kind of stuff that I like. I like about music in general. There's never any final answer on songs or concepts. Your imagination can go for days. So.
Absolutely. Love the artwork, and I don't dare to try and pronounce the name of the person that did this.
And I never do either, man. I just call him Camille.
Okay.
He's okay with that.
All right. Someone that you had known, worked with in the past, or is this somebody new, or?
Yeah, no, Camille has done some work for us in the past for merchandising and things like that. I've known him for a long time, since I was with Ice Earth. Well, back, let me put it this way. I had contact with Camille since before I went back, I guess, with Ice Earth the second time. He had contacted me about stuff. He had done some like fan art and things like that for Pyramids. He had also done some fan art things for Ice Earth. So he's a fan. He is definitely a fan of mine, and now I'm a fan of his, because I think his art is phenomenal. And so we've had a kind of a cool relationship. He did do some artwork for us for some merchandising that we had done, T-shirts and things like that for the last record. And so when we really wanted to do something special with this record, and we approached him. We didn't know if he, what his schedule would be like, or his availability, but we just approached him with these concepts, and we said, hey man, we want you to do art for the whole record. We want every song to be represented, and all that stuff. And he just, man, he's a maniac, man. He just started flinging ideas at us, and like everything that he sent us was hitting on all the right notes. It just really flowed. And the cool thing about it is just the whole record, just this art that flows throughout the record. And I can't wait to see the layout, or I can't wait. I've seen the layout, but I can't wait to see it in book form and hold it in my hand.
Yeah.
And see what the folks are going to see, because I think it's just really cool, man. And I don't think I'm offending him by this. I've told him this before, but I'm a huge fan of Simon Bisley. I don't know if you're familiar with any of his work, but it has kind of almost a Frank Frazetta, Simon Bisley. They're very so very dark, overtones and all of his stuff, and I love it, man.
Yeah. Frazetta I'm familiar with, the other one I'm not, but very cool. Excellent.
Yeah. So anyway, I just love his and the stuff that he did for us, man, was just phenomenal. And when we said we were going to do Well of Souls was going to be the title, then he created this piece of art for the cover that's just brilliant. And I can't say enough about it. And it's just that these little things just flow throughout the record, and it's throughout his art, and it's just phenomenal. So
very, very cool.
Yep.
I got to tell you, Matt, as I was listening to this album, prepping for this interview, I was at my daughter's gymnastics class. I basically get over there. I've got 3 hours to kill. They have good internet. So I prep for a lot of interviews. I listen to a lot of music. And, here I am, this older guy sitting in a corner with my laptop with a big old-fashioned set of headphones on. I got, some serious cans when I listen to this music because I want to hear it.
You got to do it, man.
Yeah.
The music, brother.
And my daughter says, oh, Dad, I look over there, and here you got those big old-fashioned headphones on and stuff. And, all these gym moms are sitting there watching their kids, do this thing. And every once in a while, a riff or a hook or a drum pattern or something will match up with what one of the girls is either doing, like with a floor exercise or on the bars or something like that. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And I'm sitting there thinking, here I am doing this. If these people knew, I was sitting here listening to this metal, getting ready to prep one of these legendary vocalists in metal. And it sort of parallels you because you're all of that, but you're also a police officer.
Yep.
Which I think is extremely
I'm a dad.
cool.
I'm a dad too. Now,
right.
I'm in gymnastics, but they're not graced with they're graced with their father's inability to do any sort of athletics. Athletics, but man, it is. It's different, and people, sometimes people kind of are taken aback a little bit by, when they look at me on the street, because I don't typically look like a metal guy, honestly, I do have my metal T-shirts and stuff like that, but I still wear my cargo pants, and I got my haircut, my cop haircut, I guess you could say, but
right.
I don't look like a metal guy, so it definitely people kind of are taken aback sometimes by, hey, he's in a metal band, what?
Yeah.
What are you doing it? Because then I tell them I sing or whatever, and so it's kind of weird. People that don't know me for that, it's kind of they do tend to be taken aback a little bit.
Yeah. Now there was a time where you sort of walked away from the music and everything, from Iced Earth and everything, to concentrate on your family and stuff, and you finished, you got your criminal justice degree and stuff, and you've obviously been able to strike a bit of a balance between music and family now. And this is where I'm sort of talking to you as both not so much a musician, but a person who does interviews, and a father with family who is trying to find that balance too between, do I interview 24/7 or do I spend time with the family and stuff like this? How hard has it been to find that balance? Or how do you find that balance?
Well, man, honestly, my family are a huge supporter. If it weren't for that, I couldn't. I don't think it would be fair for them if they weren't supportive of it. And my wife is my biggest pillar of support. And so with that, she gets that. Sometimes I need the me time to go out in my studio and record, and it's not easy. A lot of times, it's I'm sure it's really hard on them sometimes because Dad's not there. But I have to do it because it really is kind of my mental health time. I get out there and I get to get my artistic juices flowing and things like that. And I come in and I'm excited. I tell about concepts and stuff that I have for these songs. Sometimes I get real emotional about it because just like it pops. Like when I'm sitting out there and listening to the music and these ideas kind of flow out, and then it's just like emotion. On the page, or I typically I'm writing lyrics on my phone. I keep stuff on my phone as I'm listening to it, and I come in here and I'll share it with her. So it really is a I try to incorporate my family into what I'm doing and make them have them be a part of it as well. And so then at the end, the final product, we're almost we're sharing it as a team. So
right.
It's a cool thing, and I think I think really that's the only way to do it. I don't think that I couldn't ever and wouldn't ever kind of shut them out and make it a separate thing. It's a far better and a much richer reward to share it and have them be a part of it. So.
Absolutely. Matt, I always like to wind things up with just some what I call fun questions. Hopefully these are questions maybe you've never even been asked. Sound good?
That sounds great, man.
All right. Would you rather be stranded on a desert island alone or with someone who never stops talking?
Alone or someone that never stops talking? Well, my wife just said I'm married to someone who never stops talking. I don't necessarily think that that's true, but yeah, I think it would really depend on the person. I mean, some random person that just never stopped talking, then I'd rather be by myself.
All right.
If it was somebody that I loved, concerned about what they're telling me.
Okay.
Hopefully they're warning me of danger.
Sounds good. All right, this should be a good one with your wife right there. Given your choice of household chores, would you rather do dishes or the laundry?
Dishes all day long.
Okay.
So weird, man, that you would pick that, because those are like those are. I'm the dish guy and she's the laundry.
Sound good.
I hate laundry, man.
Late at night and you're hungry, what do you grab for a midnight snack?
Wow. I'm gonna say. I don't do midnight snacks too often, but yeah, my almonds, man. I have these cinnamon covered almonds. They're freaking phenomenal. I can't get enough of them.
All right. Favorite toy growing up as a child?
Favorite toy? Man, I'd almost have to say probably my G.I. Joes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather go back in time and meet your ancestors, or forward in time and meet your great-great-great-grandchildren?
Wow. That's a tough one. Probably go forward and meet my great-great-grandchildren. That would sort of be the big payoff. Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully I wouldn't be completely disappointed.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, like what was it? Back to the Future too.
Yeah. Favorite old school wrestler?
Old school wrestler. Wow. I would. It's funny that you say that. When I lived in Tampa, I worked out at this Gold's Gym, and I was never a big wrestling fan.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I met some of the guys that were actually pro wrestlers, and one of the coolest guys, Hercules Hernandez, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Super freaking nice guy, and could probably just pop my head with his two fingers. You know?
Yeah. That guy was jacked.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's cool. Very cool. All right, last one, and this is the one we generally have the most fun with. If they were to make a movie of your life, what actor would you have play you in the movie? And it's your movie, your life. You can pick anybody.
Well, my wife just said The Rock, but I think that's probably for her own personal gratification.
There you go.
I would say if you could take Bryan Cranston and de-age him by just a couple years, you know, like they do in the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
It may be me. I've been accused of looking like Bryan Cranston.
Sounds good. All right, been chatting with Matt Barlow here, and the Let's Discuss with Lance All fun chat here, especially at the end. I like that. New album, Well of Souls, coming out this coming Friday, as is November 9th on Rock of Angels Records. Well of Souls is the name of the album. Ashes of Aries is the name of the band. It is phenomenal. I wish you and Freddy and anybody else involved in the project much luck and success in the future, Matt.
I appreciate it, Lance, man. It's been great to be on with you, brother.
Thank you. Take care.